Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're finishing the last part of chapter 2, which is verses 54 through 72, which I have entitled Symptoms of Transcendence. So this second chapter was given as contents of the Gita summarized, and I broke out this chapter into different sections. So this final section, Symptoms of Transcendence. Transcendence means that which is beyond the material energy, that which is beyond the cosmic manifestation. Transcendence is usually referred to as three features: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. We learned in a previous class, when we were studying Prabhupada's summaries, he explained that Brahman realization is partial realization of the absolute truth. Paramatma is still better, but even that is partial. But complete realization of the absolute truth is Bhagavan. And it is Bhagavan who is speaking Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavan, of course, is Lord Sri Krishna. So let's now look at this last section, verses 54 through 72. Arjuna said, O Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak? And what is his language? How does he sit? And how does he walk? In the purport to this verse, Prabhupada writes that speech is the most important quality of a human being. By the way someone speaks, you can tell what is the caliber of their consciousness, what kind of person he is, by their speech. So when Arjuna says, how does he speak? That's good, because he wants to know what are the symptoms. How do I know that someone is a transcendental person? The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties of desire for sense gratification, which arise from mental concoction, and when his mind, thus purified, finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. So sense gratification, that is why we are in this material world. We're in this material world because we want to enjoy sense gratification. The eyes want to see nice colors and forms and shapes. The ears want to hear pleasing sounds. The nose wants to smell a nice flower. The tongue wants to taste delicious foodstuffs. And the sense of touch wants to feel nice things. When one is in the bodily concept of life, then satisfying these senses is the goal of one's life. Most people, because they're not transcendentalists, they think life is simply one experience after another, how to enjoy the senses. So here Krishna says, the symptom of a transcendental person, he has given up all varieties of desire for sense gratification. And then he points out, where does it come from? Mental concoction. As we learn in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 15th chapter, the conditioned soul is struggling, karshati, with 6 senses, which include the mind. And later on in that chapter, Krishna points out everybody is given a particular set of senses grouped about the mind. So that's why everyone has different likes and dislikes. It's all because everyone has a different set of senses, particular. And according to your senses, you enjoy varieties of sense gratification. But Krishna is pointing out this is all because of mental concoction. So what's the purified mind? The purified mind is not engaged in gratifying the senses. The purified mind is taking satisfaction in the soul, in spiritual life, in the pursuit of self-realization. Lord Chaitanya's first instruction, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, cleanse the mirror of the mind. And that's why we chant the Hare Krishna mantra. Everybody, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Because we want to purify the mind. And instead of mental concoction, the mind finds satisfaction in serving Krishna. So then one is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. Pure transcendental consciousness, Krishna is my master, I am his servant. That's pure transcendental consciousness. And one acts on that understanding. Not just it's a theoretical understanding, but one acts on that. I'll give you an example. If one is convinced that the goal of life is to make money, then the person acts in a certain way because he wants to make money. If a person wants to become an athlete, then they act in a certain way to fulfill that desire. So a transcendental person thinks and acts and feels how to serve Krishna. Let's continue. One who is not disturbed in mind, even amidst the threefold miseries, or elated when there is happiness, and who is free from attachment, fear, and anger, is called a sage of steady mind. So, the threefold miseries. We once, many years ago, did a class on the threefold miseries here in Kundan Loka. So, what are the threefold miseries? Miseries from the body and the mind. Miseries caused by other living entities. And then miseries caused by the devatas, because they are controlling the different universal aspects. So here it is said, what's that? Yes, very good, excellent. Adhyatmik, Adibhautik, and I said there's one more, Aditechnic, technology. No, Bhautik means body and mind. Daivik. Other living entities.
Adhyatmic means from your body and
yes, because Atma can mean mind, body, and soul. There are 7 definitions of Atma. Okay, so he's not disturbed amidst the threefold miseries, nor elated when there is happiness, and who is free from attachment, fear, and anger, is called a sage of steady mind. In the material world, one who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may obtain, neither praising it nor despising it, is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. One who is able to withdraw his senses from sense objects, as the tortoise draws its limbs within the shell, is firmly fixed in perfect consciousness. So that example of the tortoise, the devotee, the transcendentalist, if there's an opportunity to engage the senses in service to Krishna, he goes for it. But if there's no opportunity, you don't engage. So like the tortoise, it can retract, so the yogi, the transcendentalist, has control over the senses. The embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, though the taste for sense objects remains. But ceasing such engagements, by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. So this statement is the crux of Krishna consciousness. In the beginning, when you're just coming to Krishna consciousness, you still have strong inclinations to want to enjoy. But you have heard from the spiritual master, you have read in the scriptures that no, there's a better platform. So even though you still may want to, no. That's the key, that you're able to say no, even though your senses may want to. By your intelligence, you say, no, no, no. This is not for me. It's not Krishna conscious. It may smell good, but I know, oh no, this is bad for me. So you have to forcibly deny. But once you begin Krishna consciousness, now you have a higher taste. Krishna consciousness is the higher taste. And it's just a matter of allowing yourself enough time to get that higher taste. The best verse I can give in this example is Rupa Goswami, when he's describing that Krishna's name is sweet. It's the sweetest of things. But we all have a disease, the disease of ignorance. And that disease of ignorance prevents us from tasting that sweetness of Krishna's name. And Rupa Goswami says, it's just like a person who has jaundice. When the person has jaundice, if you give him something sweet, he can't taste it. So they know the cure, but it still tastes very bitter. So by force, he has to take that bitter. But as he's taking it, he's starting to get cured. And little by little, the taste for the sugar starts to come back. So in the same way, in the beginning, chanting and doing devotional service may be not something very enjoyable. But if you restrict the sense gratification and engage in devotional activities, little by little, you're getting that higher taste. And in the case of the jaundice person, when he's fully cured, he now tastes how nice sugarcane juice is. He really, but in the beginning, was very, very bitter. But because now he's cured, very nice. So in the beginning, chanting may be difficult, and it may not be pleasurable. It may be a chore. But you take the medicine, and little by little, chanting becomes something you look forward to. Do you look forward to doing kirtan and bhajan? You have some taste, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't continue. So this is a very good sign. The fact that you have some taste for doing bhajan and kirtan, that is proof of your advancement. It's true. This is the thing about Krishna consciousness. You can't fake it. You either have Krishna consciousness or you don't. Right? Either you have it or you don't. And you can see, does the person have an inclination or a taste for Krishna conscious activities? And you can tell, oh, this person would rather do this activity, going to the club or doing this, but coming to Namahat, he doesn't have any taste. You're in college, so there's so many hundreds and hundreds of students, right? But you have a taste for bhajan and kirtan. Tonight's Friday. I guarantee so many of your UC Irvine friends, what are they doing right now? Right? You know them, right? But not you. Why? You have that higher taste. That's why you came here. You can't enjoy like they. You don't have that taste. You were raised pure. So from birth, you were on that higher taste platform. I'm sure it's your experience in the school when you see what they're eating, you go, oh my God, what is... I know in my apartment, because we have over 400 units, every so often my wife and I will go, what is that smell? God. We got to close all the windows because somebody downstairs is cooking something and it's nasty. And they think, this is good. Okay? Huh? Yes. So depending on your taste and depending on your inclinations, we can tell what kind of a person someone is. Doesn't take long. You can tell by their speech, and you can tell by what they like to enjoy. The senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjuna, that they forcibly carry away the mind, even of a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them. So that's also very, very important. We don't want to put ourselves in a situation where our senses will become overly attracted. We have to be very, very careful because these senses are very strong and they can forcibly, Prabhupada likes to give the example of Vishwamitra, who was meditating for thousands of years. But then he heard the little ankle bells of Menaka. It broke his meditation and he fell down. And who came? Shakuntala. All because of just hearing the ankle bells of Menaka. Of course. And this is similar understanding in the Bible. Jesus said, don't throw your pearls before the swine. The swine can't appreciate. Right? We like nice rajma halwa, but you all know what the pig likes to eat. The pig has different set of senses and enjoys differently. Okay? I've seen it. Some people, if they smell the ghee, oh, what is that? But if I smell ghee, oh, what a nice, but some people, oh, what is that? That tells you right there what kind of person he is. But if they have that barbecue smell, now I'm happy. But that smell of the nice, like my wife makes ghee every month or so. And this fills up the whole house. What's that?
In the house you can smell it.
Yes.
From the kitchen.
From outside, no.
Yes. So the senses are strong and impetuous. So we have to keep in mind, be careful. You can't just let the senses do whatever they want, because they can overpower you. Okay. One who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control, and fixes his consciousness upon me, is known as a man of steady intelligence. This is the key to Krishna consciousness. This statement by Krishna is the essence of Krishna consciousness. You restrain your senses, you have them under control, and you fix your consciousness on Krishna. Hmm? Yeah, yeah. But even you can't do the other two. Fixing your mind on Krishna is still good enough, which is what we do. Chaito Darpana Marjanam. That's why chanting is the best spiritual activity, because you may not have control of your senses, but as soon as you start chanting and fixing your mind on Krishna, automatically everything else is under control. In that picture with the wild horses pulling the chariot, right? The reins is what controls the horses. So the reins is the mind. So anyone knows, if you have horses, you just pull on the reins, the horses are checked. So that's why, in the beginning, what did Prabhupada do? There were no rules. Chant. Later he added the rules. One day he put on the bulletin board, here are the regulative principles. What? But first he got them attached to Krishna. And that is the teaching of Rupa Goswami, following Lord Chaitanya. Somehow or other, that the idea is to get somebody attached to Krishna. That's more important. Because even you restrain your senses and keep them under full control, but you don't fix it on Krishna, you will ultimately fail, because it's artificial. But if you fix your mind on Krishna, so that's why we emphasize chanting and activities which will help you to fix your mind on Krishna. That's the key to Krishna consciousness. And it'll be repeated at the end of chapter 6. Of all yogis, the one who always abides in Krishna. Then the next chapter begins. So you should place your mind upon me. It's a repeating theme in the Bhagavad fame, form, pastimes, qualities, entourage, anything that's directly connected to Krishna, if you become attached to it, you'll be able to make great spiritual advancement. You'll conquer the senses because you fixed your mind on Krishna. Okay, let's continue. While contemplate, okay, now this next section is very important. This is science, this next set of statements. While contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them. As I've said hundreds of times, this is the whole essence of Madison Avenue and the advertising thing that goes on here all over. All those television ads, what are they trying to do? Get you to look at the objects of the senses. And in almost every advertisement, what do they use? A beautiful woman.
It comes after every, like, or repeating every 5 minutes.
That's right. And now they become so sophisticated that even though they're trying to sell soap, they'll make an advertisement that's got nothing to do with soap, but they make it so attractive. Oh, buy this, and at the end, you buy the soap. So they know, they know this. So that all they're trying to do is get you to contemplate the object of the senses. That's the whole world of advertisement. That's what they do. They spend millions of dollars, research. What can we do now to attract the conditioned soul to buy our useless product? It's all based on this, contemplating, especially Christmas time. Christmas time, all the children's commercials, toys, toys, toys. And they make it, or video games, right? And they make it so attractive. And the parents are out somewhere and the kids watching television and they're getting brainwashed. So that when Christmas comes, I want this. Spend $500 for Xbox. Yes?
Now we are talking about it like ads, like all beautiful women are doing it. Like, what happens if somebody tries, that Chaitan Mahaprabhu, Radhaji doing all the time? It will be a difference for everybody, and it might work.
Yes. Yes. That's why Prabhupada insisted. This is an interesting point. Prabhupada insisted that the deities had to be dressed opulently on this point. Otherwise, the conditioned soul all day long is being bombarded with all this Maya, right? And they make it so attractive, which is why you have to be careful. The senses are so impetuous in the previous verse. Because these demons, when they make the advertisement, some of these you shouldn't even look at because they're so powerful. So yes, Prabhupada insisted, deities must be dressed opulently based on this point, attracting you away from Maya.
But I heard that it coming from Jack Nicholson, that Hollywood guy who always goes to this third temple. So in that food, he's like Hollywood guy, right? But he's coming to all the time. That whenever I go to that temple, that deity's decoration, I cannot take my eyes away from
Very good.
it. And that is like Jack Nicholson coming over.
Whoever, his name doesn't matter. Whoever. Yes. So that's why in Prabhupada's temples, no expense is spared. Right? You've all been to New Dwarka. That's a big budget they have.
Same thing, Maharaj, like Ahmad temple, right? Focusing on deities blessing every week and flower seva that make this temple different than other Hindu temples.
Right.
Other Hindu temples, there is no blessing, but here, again, this morning, for 10 minutes, I saw that the London, he was decorating so nicely, you know, so yes, you are right, that if you have to like big go, you have to buy entertainment, right? Then deity, you know, like opulent deity.
Yes. Nice dress, lots of flowers. Very important. Just to attract us away from Maya. Because as Kali Yuga progresses, Maya becomes more powerful, more powerful, more powerful.
See how we are. It's 1, 2, 3, 20,000, totally.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's continue. While contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment. From such attachment, lust. So, lust means I want to enjoy. First, you have to become attracted. That's the first thing. That's where the attachment comes from. It's attractive. Okay? Then, from that attraction, from an attachment, the desire, I want to possess it. I want to enjoy it. Okay? And from lust, anger arises. And why? Because you cannot enjoy it. You cannot possess it. You think you can enjoy it. You think you can possess it. But the living entity is Prakriti, not Purusha. If the living entity was actually Purusha, then yes, you could enjoy. But Krishna's the actual Purusha. But we are Prakriti. So we try to enjoy. But what happens? Frustration. It's got to happen. It's axiomatic. It's just a matter of time. You're going to be frustrated.
It may be temporary enjoyment,
Yes, yeah. There's a little bit.
but once it's fulfilled, only then.
Little bit, yeah. Yes, otherwise no one can live. Yes, there's a little bit. But in the end, right? Anyone, you don't have experience, but anyone who has done intoxication, for a while you're king. But when the intoxication wears off, you don't have experience of this. But, huh? Any kind of intoxication.
Hangover, they call it.
Hangover. Hangover. The next morning, they drink. And then the next morning, I've got a splitting headache. Right? So yes, you can enjoy a little bit, but it won't stay. You'll come crashing down. And in cases of very serious drugs, the crashing down is so intense that you again take the drug because the crashing down is too painful. So painful on certain drugs. So this intoxication is very, very serious thing. Let's continue. From lust, anger arises. Yes, you become angry after frustration. From anger, complete delusion arises. And from delusion, bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost, And when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool. You're going deeper and deeper and deeper into material life. But a person free from all attachment and aversion and able to control his senses through regulative principles of freedom can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord. Yes, Prabhu? So, regulative principles of freedom: no illicit sex, no intoxication, no meat eating, no gambling. To non-devotees, that is something impossible. But we realize, we know, no. This is keeping us free. It may appear that we're, like you said, your friend said, you don't know what you're missing, right? But they don't realize, no. This is keeping us free from suffering. You were going to say something. Yes.
And when you came to when first came contact, was it 69, 68?
No, 72 as my first contact.
Okay, so probably before that time or when my friend said.
No,
Before
stop.
that time when we used to have LSD and all those things.
Everything.
I'm like, how long was the transformation it took and how effective was Krishna consciousness and how much time it took you?
It took maybe,
So difficult from, because like if somebody has wine it really, but from that LSD and all, jumping back here and not taking it to like long path.
to me, it was not very hard. Because, first of all, Prabhupada was on the planet. Okay? I had seen Prabhupada. Okay? I had seen him. So that experience alone, seeing Prabhupada, was a big transformation. As I said the other day in a high school class, that when I first saw Prabhupada and I bowed down, I said to myself, I have found the modern Jesus. That is what I felt. That now I know what it must have been like when I was reading about Jesus in the Bible, this is it, I found a real saint. Then, prasadam. That temple prasadam was so good. I didn't even think about meat. This prasadam was so good. There was no, all that meat and all that other stuff I used to eat was like, because prasad was so good.
So it was like Krishna mercy and Prabhupada mercy that it just went right away.
Definitely. Definitely.
It is so difficult because the people go to rehab and there again.
Also, I had lots of bad experiences prior. So this Krishna consciousness was saving me from hell. Because I had so many bad experiences. Okay? So Prabhupada, Krishna, the devotees, the temple, prasadam was like, I'm saved. I'm saved. Okay? All right. So regulative principles of freedom can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord. For one thus satisfied in Krishna consciousness, again, the threefold miseries of material existence exist no longer. In such satisfied consciousness, one's intelligence is soon well established. So when you're satisfied in Krishna consciousness, that is practically a liberated state. If you're satisfied, just like I'll be very honest, Right now, I'm very satisfied. I'm talking about Krishna. I don't want to be doing something else. It's not that I'm like, I can't wait to get out of here. I am enjoying this. So it's reality. I enjoy this. Yes?
So it says the threefold miseries of material existence exist no longer, or
Right.
you don't feel it.
Same thing.
Huh?
Same.
It's there.
It doesn't exist for you.
Bother you. That,
Yeah, it doesn't exist for you, right? Because because the topic is transcendence. So you have transcended those. First of all, you're not committing any sin. As soon as you give up sin, you're not experiencing the threefold miseries. Just giving up those.
Prabhu, like you're gonna get sick, right? That's a misery, right?
Yes, but you don't experience it the same way as you did before. Okay?
That makes sense.
Like when towards the end, when Prabhupada was in his last days, the doctors were telling the devotees, we can't understand how your guru can be in this state. Anybody else would be screaming in pain. They were amazed. Yes.
Last moment.
Yes. Yes. So that means you have transcended. After all, Batukji, the threefold miseries only exist in the mind. Everything is grouped about the mind. When you've transcended the mind, that's another way of explaining there's no more threefold miseries, because the only reason you experience the threefold miseries is because you take them to be factual. There's a verse in the beginning of the Bhagavatam, first canto, regarding Vyasadeva. And the verse is, the threefold miseries, that they don't really exist when you're on the platform of self-realization. Because later I'll find the verse. It's a famous verse in the first canto. It's everything in the material world exists only because of the mind. You transcend the mind, you're not going to experience the material world, because you've heard me say it. This whole material existence is a Once you wake up from the dream, right? In the dream, you're crying, save me, save me, save me. Then you wake, it was just a dream. Right? Whether the dream is good or bad. When it's good,
Why did you finish?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But when you wake up from the dream, the effects of the dream, you see what it is. Bhagavatam teaches all of material existence is a dream. Someday we'll have to do a whole seminar on this whole dream thing. And you know why that is? You know why that is? You have made some actual advancement. If you didn't make any advancement, you wouldn't talk like this. You would be talking, can't we talk about something else? Right? But because you have made some advancement, you find this ideas, like you keep saying, interesting. That's a good sign. That's a good sign. Let's continue. One who is not connected with the Supreme in Krishna consciousness can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. So you need transcendental intelligence, a steady mind, then you can have peace. It's not that somebody can give it to you. You have to, this is what it takes to be peaceful. Transcendental intelligence. So where do you get transcendental intelligence? Yes, my scripture. And your spiritual master. That's where you get transcendental intelligence. Okay? Steady mind means don't engage in sense gratification or sinful activity. You stay away from that, you should be peaceful. And how can there be any happiness without peace? Yes, peace, then happiness. Peace meaning mind and senses calm, like you all say. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Okay? Yes. Then you can be happy. As a strong wind sweeps away a boat on the water, even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence. So therefore, when you're chanting and you notice that the mind is going, Hare Krishna, bring it back. Bring it back, chanting louder than your mind. Yes, nice chanting. Okay, so you got to be careful. Even one of the senses. Therefore, O mighty armed, one whose senses are restrained from their objects is certainly of steady intelligence. So if Hiran wants to study for an exam, he has to turn off the TV, he has to turn off the cell, he has to become focused, right? Because if he's trying to study, the TV's on, this is on, that's on, and there's all these people, blah, blah, blah. How can he, that's not just you, I'm just giving an example. Anybody. Yes? You would have done better without it. Don't contradict Bhagavad Gita. All right? Now you just went down 2 notches. You would have done better. Just like me. Every day I'm in my room, right? My wife goes to work. I'm in my room. I'm chanting. I'm studying. I don't want there to be, if the phone rings, I let it go to answering machine. I figure if somebody is important, they'll leave a message. The phone will ring 10 times, only one person leaves a message. Because everything else is all stupid sales calls. So I practice this. When I'm, every day, when I'm doing my chanting and studying, I minimize as much as I can distractions. That's why I like going to Santiago, because I have nothing to worry about, right? I don't have to do any driving. I don't have to bring all the equipment. All I have to do is chant, study, and go to the program. That's why I like to go twice a year. It's a vacation. And then when I tell them, yeah, when I'm in LA, I have this, I have, they go, really? You do all that? I said, yeah. Yes. But I tell them, but I enjoy doing this. I don't mind bringing all the stuff. I enjoy it. Right? Okay. What is night for all beings is the time of awakening for the self-controlled. And the time of awakening for all beings is night for the introspective sage. A person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desires that enter like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled but is always still, can alone achieve peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy such desires. A person who has given up all desires for sense gratification. Sense gratification is different than devotional activities. They're not the same. Both are activities, but one is done for the satisfaction of the body and mind, and the other is done for the satisfaction of Krishna. Both are actions, both are activities, but they're different. So that's why it says, giving up all desires for sense gratification, who lives free from desires. The devotee has only one desire. What's the devotee's desire? To serve Krishna, right? Exactly. And the best example is Radharani. That's all she thinks about. How can I please Krishna? That's what she lives for. Make a garland for Krishna, do this for Krishna. All throughout the day, all Radharani can think of is, how can I serve Krishna? Who has given up all sense of proprietorship. Proprietorship means you all tell me, no, Prabhu, this is Krishna's house, or this is your house, right? You may own a nice house, but because you're devotees, you recognize, no, this has been given to me by Krishna, therefore it actually belongs to Krishna. I have a great wife, doesn't belong to me, she's Krishna's. I have to serve because she belongs to Krishna. I have sons. They're not my sons. They're Krishna's sons, but Krishna has given me charge of these sons. Where is your son? What happened? Wow.
I thought you were asking me really my son. I said, oh,
Yes, the Garmalkar boys are your sons. But only one king. Okay. Okay. But is he okay? Will he be joining us? Garmalkar Leela. Okay, let's continue. One who has given up all sense of proprietorship and is devoid of false ego. Who can define for me false ego? But two can answer. Huh? Right, yes. I am the body. What is real ego?
I'm servant of Krishna.
Huh?
I'm a servant of Krishna.
That's really it. I'm eternal servant of Krishna. False ego is, I'm not Krishna's servant. Real ego, I'm Krishna's eternal servant. He alone can attain real peace. And that is the way of the spiritual and godly life, after attaining which a man is not bewildered. If one is thus situated, even at the hour of death, one can enter into the kingdom of God, just like Bhishma. Even though Bhishma took the side of the Kauravas, throughout his whole life, Bhishma was a devotee. So Bhishma, on the deathbed of arrows, all he was doing was praising Krishna, praying to Krishna, and who appeared to him on his deathbed? Krishna. Krishna was right there. Everyone chant the Maha Mantra.